Summary. Marinette meets up with her project group, Chloe, who, of course, hopes to not do any work, and Felicien, a cat lover with zero patience for bad attitudes. Marinette realizes that this project could be a very convenient way to study feline tendencies, and so she and Felicien decide to save arguing with Chloe for another day. During her lunch break, Marinette rereads the entry in her diary telling the story of her first and second kiss with Chat Noir, and does her best to release the pent-up sexual frustration she's been carrying around all morning. To her dismay, it seems that orgasms won't be quite enough to fully relieve her anymore when it's Chat Noir's touch her body craves. After school, Marinette and Aaliyah hang out to discuss part 2 of Operation Seduce. Adrien Agreste, a double date to the aquatic center. Aaliyah claims it's the perfect novel experience to help Adrien loosen up around Marinette, if she can let go of her nerves and have fun without passing out at the sight of Adrien in a swimsuit. Tuesday. On their way to the library with about a dozen fellow classmates, Marinette and Aaliyah hung back to bring up the rear of the group so that they could talk more or less privately. Most of the other kids were holding their own conversations with each other, and Chloe appeared to be too preoccupied with her dissatisfaction with her current situation to care what Marinette might be discussing with her best friend in confidence, and so Marinette took the opportunity to give Aaliyah the abridged version of what had happened between her and Adrien in the hallway. He just stared at my face, like he had never seen freckles before. Marinette whispered, blushing at the memory of his face coming so close to hers. He seemed so relaxed, like it was totally normal, but at the same time, his eyes were so. She trailed off, remembering the powerful urge to kiss him she had felt when their eyes met. Quote. This is gonna sound crazy, it sounds crazy. Even to me, but, I swear I saw something like longing in his eyes, like, you know how they talk about heated gazes in romance novels, or whatever. That's exactly what it felt like. Have you ever seen a heated gaze in real life before, though? Aaliyah whispered, sounding intrigued. No, but we've both seen it in movies lots of times, right? You know what I'm talking about. How their expressions go all soft but hyper-focused right before they move in for the kiss. Adrien was looking at you like that. Aaliyah hissed, sounding about as mind-blown as Marinette was. Yeah, he was. Oh my god, he really was. And I wanted to kiss him so bad, but we were in the middle of the hallway. No, yeah, I get it, but go on, what happened then? Aaliyah whispered excitedly all in one breath. He seemed to suddenly snap out of something, and he backpedaled, just like he's done before, and then he just bolted for the restroom. Do you think he was doing what you said he's? Been doing, coming on a bit too strong and then panicking. Yeah, I bet you that's exactly what happened. I mean, he might not have been consciously trying to hit on you, but he noticed something about you that he hadn't before, and because he likes you, it felt like a special discovery to him. Like, how would you feel if you discovered something new about Adrien like that? Like a freckle or beauty mark on him somewhere? Marinette pressed her lips together against the giddy smile that instantly stretched across her face. She failed to completely muffle her giddy squeal, which was more than enough answer for Aaliyah. Exactly. And so that's probably how Adrien felt. Aaliyah grinned as Marinette gasped in her excitement. Oh my gosh. Do you think? Do you think he wanted to kiss me, too? She whispered breathlessly. You were probably looking at him the same way he was looking at you if you wanted to kiss him. So, yeah, maybe he did. Oh god, I feel like I'm gonna faint. Marinette clutched at her own heart. Can't faint yet, girl, I have to meet with my group, and you have to meet with yours with Chloe. So you're going to need your wits about you. Aaliyah clapped Marinette on the shoulder sympathetically. Lucky me, Marinette grumbled, slouching dramatically. Ms. Goucher was waiting in the library for the class to arrive. She gave each of them an index card with a number on to help them find and meet up with the other members of their groups. Okay. I'm off to meet up with my fellow ones, Aaliyah said, gesturing with her card. Good luck. With Chloe. Marinette sent Aaliyah off with a gloomy wave back, and then took her card from me. Goucher. It had a number 2 on it. As much as I'm dreading having to do a group project dealing with Chloe the whole time, Marinette thought, hopefully, I can keep her from sabotaging our grade, even if I can't get her to do her fair share of the work. At least I've learned how to not let her get to me, well, most of the time. Most of the other kids in our class probably haven't had to deal with her before, and I'd hate for her to end up in a group with somebody who's easy to bully, like Rose. Marinette heaved a sigh and started wandering the library, holding up her card facing outward so that her other group member, she hadn't remembered their name, could find her. I really don't want to, but I'd better find Chloe first if I can. If she's left alone for too long, she might try to bully someone else into trading group number cards with her. Good thing Adrian isn't here for her to bother, at least. Marinette searched the library until she spotted Chloe by her blonde ponytail and designer handbag. She was standing in the middle of an aisle texting on her phone with an annoyed scowl on her face. Marinette would have been willing to bet that she was trying to shove her share of the workload onto Sabrina, even though the two of them were now in different classes. She'll never change. Marinette approached Chloe and cleared her throat loudly. Chloe looked up and sneered in that familiar snooty way she always did. Oh, what do you want? Don't tell me you're actually going to try to make me help you with this project. She tossed her ponytail haughtily. It's ridiculous. It's juvenile. We're in lycée now. Why am I being forced to prove I know how to do research for a science project? This class is a complete waste of my time. Quote. Any other time, Marinette would have rolled her eyes at Chloe's poor attitude and sense of entitlement, but this time, she winced slightly, because Chloe was far from the only one who not so secretly thought me. Goucher's teaching methods felt like an insult to their intelligence. Nevertheless, Marinette felt confident in assuming that Chloe's reasons for not wanting to pull her weight on this group project were the same ones as for every other homework assignment she'd ever been given. She knew for a fact that Sabrina had been doing all of Chloe's homework for her since grade school. Honestly, Marinette said, I can't answer for the rest of us, but if Sabrina's really been doing all of your homework for you since you could read and write, maybe you should prove you can do research and collaborate on a project, since you've probably never done it by yourself before. I won't be doing research as part of my career. That's what secretaries are for. Chloe snapped, gesturing dismissively. I will be making bigger, more important decisions, like what other have to do, and where all the money goes. She patted her ponytail haughtily and smirked. Okay, Marinette drawled, rolling her eyes. She crossed her arms. Well, until then, we're still in school, and we're stuck with this project, so let's just get this over with, okay? Don't expect me to be at your beck and call. Chloe snapped, bending forward and pointing a warning finger at Marinette. You can do what you want with this project, but I'm not gonna be your little study buddy, got it? First of all, this a group project, not a study session, so you'll do your fair share of the work with us if you care about your grade, Marinette said, struggling a little bit to contain her mounting frustration. Second of all, this isn't just about you and me being stuck together, we have a third group member, and we're supposed to be meeting up with her right now so we can pick our topic and start planning our research. And if Madame Gaucher sees us not working on our worksheets, she's going to be all over us, and we really don't want that, right? No. Chloe sneered. If that woman so much as breathes on me, I will have her fired. Marinette took a brief moment to gaze heavenward and wonder what she had done in her past life to be cursed with Chloe Bourgeois. Let's just go find. I forgot her name. Marinette turned around and held her card aloft again. Our third group member. Great, you go look for her that way, and I'll go this way. Chloe made to go around the corner of the bookcase in the opposite direction, but Marinette moved quickly to cut her off. Nope. We're going together. Grimacing, Marinette reluctantly grabbed Chloe by the arm and started dragging her along. I don't trust you not to sneak off and ditch us. Hey. What are you? Don't touch me. Chloe tried to haul herself in the opposite direction, throwing her weight forward and tugging against Marinette's grip on her arm, but she didn't seem willing to put up more of a fight than that. She wasn't the kind of person to start an all-out catfight. Marinette knew, because God forbid she got a hair out of place or wrinkle her designer clothes. As Chloe continued to put on her display of indignant reluctance, Marinette continued to pull her along. As she held her card in the air with her other hand and kept her eyes peeled for anyone holding the same number. Before too long, a girl with her hair in a black ponytail and a jacket with cats printed on it hurried over, holding her own card with a number 2 on it. There you are, she said with a friendly smile. I'm glad I found you. You're both in group 2. With me, right? She glanced between Marinette and Chloe expectantly. Yeah. Marinette nodded, immediately smiling politely and letting go of Chloe's arm. She raised her hand in a friendly greeting. I'm Marinette. I forgot your name, sorry, she added apologetically. That's okay, the girl replied, smiling back. I'm Felicienne. And you're Chloe, right? She added, turning to Chloe, who sniffed and patted her hair haughtily. Chloe Bourgeois, she corrected, looking mildly insulted. I'm the mayor's daughter, I thought. Everyone knew that. Marinette rolled her eyes as Felicienne looked slightly confused and taken aback by Chloe's attitude. Oh. K. She replied warily, raising one eyebrow. But I got your first name right, right? But you didn't recognize me, Chloe said, like her reaction was only to be expected. So I can only assume you haven't lived in Paris very long, if you don't recognize me and my name. I don't want to have to deal with her. Marinette inwardly groaned. If we have to put up with this the whole time. Felicienne frowned, clearly starting to see the kind of annoyance Chloe was going to be as well. First of all, Madame Goucher called us all by our first names only, so I had no idea what your last name was, Felicienne pointed out. And second of all, I don't pay much attention to politics, so I didn't even know anything about our mayor's family. She squinted at Chloe critically, clearly trying to figure out what her problem was, but Marinette knew from experience that trying to apply logic to Chloe's behavior was a hopeless waste of energy. Chloe's used to having classes with a lot of the same people through college, so she's used to thinking we all know her. Marinette piped up with an exaggerated false cheeriness. She turned to Chloe and beamed at her. Don't worry, Chloe, the whole class will get to know you soon. Enough. Like what an insufferable pest you are, she added in her head. Right, Felicienne glanced between Chloe and Marinette, appearing to size up the dynamic between them, and from her dubious expression, Marinette guessed she came to a fairly correct conclusion or two. Well, let's go sit down and get started on those assignment sheets, it's already been, like, 15 minutes since we all came in, and we've only got until the end of this period. Yes. Great idea. Let's. Marinette chirped. She followed Felicienne as she led them to an empty reading table, Chloe trailing behind Marinette looking like she would rather be anywhere but here. Your socks are so cute. Marinette remarked on Felicienne's knee-highs, which were beige with a pattern of white paw prints on them and a tiny, plush cat face sewn at the top of each one. She noticed also that Felicienne's high-top sneakers were patterned with leopard spots, combined with Her feline-covered jacket, it was easy to guess what her favorite animal was. I like your jacket, too. I'm guessing you really love cats. Oh, thanks. Felicienne replied, sitting down and tucking her school bag under the desk. Yeah, I do. I've grown up having cats in the family my whole life, so now I can't live without them. She giggled. I volunteer at the animal shelter on weekends, and we have 3 cats at home, too. Ah, Marinette cooed. I would love to adopt a pet or 2 or 3 someday, but I so and work with arts and crafts all the time, and my parents run a bakery, so it never seemed like a good idea. As an animal lover herself, Marinette could easily imagine how nice it would be to have a cat or two around all the time, but she knew very well from personal experience that cats had a tendency to get into mischief. Not only had she rescued a fair few pet cats from high places, she had a superhero partner who sometimes bit off more than he could chew, just like his namesake. And now that he's in heat, he's going to be acting even more like a cat than usual, she remembered. He's already gained the ability to purr, and got the urge to lick me and love bite me. Marinette felt her face heat up and her heart flutter as she recalled the sensation of Chat Noir's teeth scraping against her skin. She squeezed her thighs together briefly against the throb of arousal between her legs, but this only seemed to heighten her sensitivity to it. She gave herself a little shake, reminding herself that this was not a good time to fantasize about Chat Noir. She was sitting at a table with her arch nemesis and needed all her wits about her if she wanted to get through this assignment. Still, she couldn't help but smile as she allowed herself to think back to the sound of Chat Noir's purr rumbling in his chest.